We have so much content here today. Map number 1 coming in on Blackheart, where the guild is extracting resources, and we see a lot of revolving walls.
Yeah.
That is the one thing with Black Ops 7 that I'm most excited for, is that duality of, right, of just kind of like interior fights versus exterior fights, with the wall jumping with the walls.
You want to talk about walls, Ellen? Take a look at the walls of the venue. Everything lit up, projections are hot, and we're going to start things off with the king. If you don't know, I was going to say you're about to know, but Scump, not the greatest opening starts. Now, let's talk about weapons and all the UI elements just to kind of start. Blackheart, a map that you're going to be seeing a lot of quick, frenetic action, but the thing that we want to keep an eye out for is what weapons, what field upgrades, what are the things that these, pro players, former pro players, major content creators are going to be using today.
Yep, and then Scump, he has a sub in his hand, right? This is the Dravik 45. Black Ops 7 is bringing in 16 new multiplayer weapons, 30 in total, right? But in the beta, this is a weapon that's fast. Obviously, as you can see, Scump, he is slaying out of his mind, but this is an exciting one to see as the duality too of the perks. We're going to see a lot, probably Tech Mask, right? Just kind of just utilizing the stopping stuns.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, I think, to see, for those that are avid fans of the Call of Duty franchise, you hear the devs talking about how this is a spiritual successor to Black Ops 2, but it's in a reinvented, new, nostalgic way that ties into the old while still building on the new. I think, for those that really enjoyed Omni Movement from Black Ops 6, you're going to be able to still feel that thrill, that surge of adrenaline kind of bouncing through the map, but the big thing is this jumping mechanic. And as we start to go from player to player, creator to creator, you're going to see some players have really honed in to what exactly they can do off that wall jumping. And of course, here at Call of Duty Next, our official CPU and GPU partner of Black Ops 7 is AMD. So make sure you check them out if you're looking to improve and optimize your PC at home.
I love that you point that out, because yes, that's the base thing, right? We increased the base speed, and now we're looking at not having tax spread. So we saw some of these players, right? They're not using dexterity, so you kind of see a little bit more clunkiness coming in the UI here, but dexterity being a very big factor when it comes to moving faster.
Yeah, loadouts, perk buildouts, it does feel like this year throws a little bit more weight onto what you're going to do. I know that there's been a lot of conversation surrounding some of the elements in movement, talking about obviously the Omni Movement still carrying over from one title to another, the wall jumping, but also keep in mind just the base level at which you sprint at. We'll talk more about that throughout the day, and we'll get a couple of in-hand looks to kind of see what that looks like, the tac sprint versus not really having that in this game. But I will tell you, when we had a chance to play just a couple of maps yesterday, the game feels really smooth and really consistent, still building on the core elements that we were seeing from last year.
The M8A1, a gun that we have seen consistent. I was getting murked with this one, as it is at Symphony's using it quite well, a 2-burst weapon, but this being very, very powerful. We'll see a lot of players probably using this, and as you can see, Corsair, right? Prepare for battle, official gaming hardware and peripheral partner of Call of Duty. So Corsair, so much Call of Duty Next feature.
It's absolutely the case. And I will say the Peacekeeper, another weapon that a lot of people were curious to see in terms of that kind of more main style AR. Is it going to provide, an AR title this year? And I will say, watching some of the players that are in the CDL and those long-standing content creators, whether they have competitive experience or just a lot of in-game experience, watching them use that Peacekeeper has been really, really enlightening. I think it's really got a level of balance built in with the draft that you're talking about. The SMG versus AR feels very neutral right now. So, if you're looking for an honest take, don't go much further than Legion stream. He'll give you every emotion, reaction, and feeling he's got.
Oh gosh, yeah, I mean, reaction time, right? You have to be fast when it comes to some of these, I love the perks, right? The hybrid perks, some of the specialties that you can equip, as we saw Legion using that. But look at Aiden utilizing, diving around the drill for Blackheart. That's what we were talking about, the grinder pit. You have to jump over or diving bell to take flanks, right? So that's an area that you have to be careful with.
Exactly the case. EWC champion in Warzone. But as you see it, again, you saw him bouncing from wall to wall to wall. You're going to need to get yourself a level up on the opponents that you're going to be facing in the beta. So go ahead and head over to Scuff, gear up for Call of Duty, the official controller for Call of Duty. Get those back buttons going. Make sure you can bounce freely, get those stead slides out of the way, and make sure that you're moving like the best of them.
Moving like the best of us. Oh, the best. You don't want to die like the rest. Aiden utilizing that wall jump feature. Oh gosh, bounce. And even utilize that to even kind of like jump pink over situations. But look at how quick Aiden is moving. And in typical COD fashion, we love to see maps like this kind of catering to pub and comp players, right?
Yeah.
You're going to see a blend of everything.
And we're going to talk a lot about the map design and hear specifically from the designers themselves later in the show. But I think one of the things that old school Call of Duty players are going to recognize nearly immediately is the reinstitution of a lot more of that traditional kind of 3-lane style map. This one in particular is exactly that. It feels, you know, in a way that you can get from lane to lane very quickly. It's got a nice central area, a couple of decent POIs where you find a lot of the engagements that you're going to get. And like you mentioned, it's not small, it's not large, it's just that perfect little middle ground of building in that balance of finding good engagements while at the same time still being able to feel like you can finesse your life and extend possible score streaks like we're seeing here for Anna.
In Call of Duty history, the maps is the most important thing, and I think for these players, they're looking at, like, do we see 3 lanes? Like, you know, do we see kind of like height advantages, disadvantages? And, well, even just to kind of the central drill area, there's a lot of fights that do take place that are close range in here. And, yeah, something like the Peacekeeper, having that weapon that you can take medium to long range fights, but also close range. Peacekeeper's a good one, and the Dravik has been a sub that we've been seeing quite often. FIFA just dropped.
This is quite the lobby right here. Legion, Swag on the other side, getting FIFA down, but you know that FIFA is going to bring some energy, and yeah, he's trying to bounce from wall to wall. And that's the other thing, and you'll notice as we start to see the gameplay more, I really want you guys at home to lock into it. 3 jumps is about as much as you're going to be able to pull off, but it does decay over time. That first jump feels like you're on a pogo stick. The second one feels like you're just on a little bit of a grab boot type situation, but the third one does kind of sit, you know, in this world of, okay, you kind of fall out of the sky. But that's map number 1. For the most part, Stephanie going to kind of finish off on her lobby here. And I will say, I think as you've seen so far, our show is really dynamic. And this year, it takes place in quite the exciting venue. And to tell us more, we've got Lottie down on the floor.
That's right, Shift. We have 200.
Lottie, Chris, thank you so much as we jump back into Blackheart and back on board with T-Dog. He's feeling himself. I talked to him a little bit yesterday after they did their tech chest, and he's just like, brother, I don't know what it is about this game, but I feel like I'm him.
Yeah, like, it's so smooth, right? And I mean, you can see him displaying that. But one thing that I think we really need to highlight is the overclock feature, right? We get this extra overclock feature, which basically allows you to upgrade your equipment. So, like, you have a stim shot, right? You can overclock that and essentially make it last longer or debuff, you know, anything that comes your way. So it's pretty cool that we have that feature in buffed equipment.
We'll point, you know, your attention to it as we go because, yeah, the field upgrade is really interesting this year. We're bringing back things like active camo. Of course, trophy systems are still in place, which I know a lot of players that are looking to play more of that competitive style are going to really enjoy the fact that the overclock gives you more deletion of incoming utility. That's great news. But we'll see some camo play, I'm sure, come through. You also have things like drone towers that are going to be placed. It's just a lot of extra flair that I think that is building upon, again, some of the core successes that we saw for Black Ops 6. And how about this? One of the score streaks, the Gravekeeper in play, or Gravemaker, pardon you. You can see through walls with this thing and actually still shoot through them. So cold-blooded might be important for some of our perk masteries this year.
Oh, yeah. The perk masteries and all the combinations that you can utilize. But that is so amazing to see that in action for the first time, really, here at Call of Duty Next. Big Cartier kind of just going around this drill yet again. This is devastating. You don't want to fall off that ledge. But Alan, I'd love that you point that out. Only 3 boosts essentially-ish that you can utilize, but still going on with that stim and slaying out here around the Diving Bell side.
Clean.
Ooh, can we keep it going?
Let me see another one of those Gravemakers come on board. Let's stick here, Ops team, because we're seeing some gameplay right now. And I'll tell you, we're going to see some pop-off moments with the movement and almost a moment right there. Again, just a little jump, and then you find yourself near a wall. You can essentially boost yourself a little bit higher. Really awesome to see that level of elevation be added into the mix.
That's not his dog, but you don't want to pet that dog. Oh, my gosh. So, with that too, kind of like some of the hybrid perks, right? Support, offensive, you can gain bonus streaks. So maybe in pubs they want to do that.
Indeed the case. So that completes our first instance of Blackheart. Up next.